Hello and welcome to another fun-filled edition of Adam's Music Box, where today I want to wish a happy birthday to Dennis DeYoung. Now, without Dennis DeYoung, there would be no Styx. He wrote a majority of the music, certainly in the early days, and then in the early 80s, and it was sort of his persistence, his vision, his keyboard sound, and his vocal sound that made the band such a success. Now, as we all know, he wasn't, as I said, the only great and talented person in the band in terms of writing and in terms of lead. There was Tommy Shaw, who, although came in somewhat late to the party, but before the golden age, he and Dennis sort of fell out after the whole Mr. Roboto thing. And there have been so many good videos about how unfortunate it is. But one thing that I think was always special about Dennis is he understood sort of the key components of progressive rock because that's what Styx were. They were a progressive rock band, one of the very best. And he understood that in order to be a great progressive rocker, you needed to compose songs that had multiple sections, multiple movements, chord changes, different stylistic changes between these movements. And he truly had a flair for drama. Some would even say melodrama. And I'm not talking about his relationship with Tommy, I'm talking about in the music. And the music really endures so much. And frankly, when Styx were at their best in that golden era, he and Shaw and James J.Y. Young, they were really synchronized in terms of their writing, and everything went together. I mean, The Grand Illusion, which in many ways was their breakout album after years of doing great work, but that didn't sell as big as it ought to. I mean, you've got the opening of the album, The Grand Illusion by Dennis. Then you've got Fooling Yourself, Angry Young Man by Shaw. You've got Come Sail Away by Dennis DeYoung. Cartman, of course, did a wonderful version of that. The whole album just absolutely perfect, and the follow-up Pieces of Eight, very similar style, similar production, and an equally sort of balanced approach between the various songwriters, and that would generally continue across the next a couple of albums. But by the time you get to 83 with Kilroy Was Here, where Mr. Roboto does his thing, it becomes a sort of, it's kind of like what happened with Pink Floyd. Roger became everything and Dennis became everything, and then they fought. It's really unfortunate, but what I would say is, well, we all know sort of the top selling albums. Check out the early albums, particularly Styx 2, which is such a great album. It's got what was somewhat of a hit when it came out, Lady. And I think, was it The Simpsons that had that they went down the river Styx and they were playing Lady? I think it might have been The Simpsons. See, it's part of the culture. Adam Sandler's joked about them. They featured on South Park, The Simpsons. They really have made a mark. Everyone loves Styx. Some people might pretend not to, but at the end of the day, everyone loves them. And it really is interesting because I was talking about sort of the sociology of modern rock, and in the context of the US and North America in general, rock and roll really was something that flourished more in the Midwest than any other genre after the mid 1960s. It had its roots in the East Coast, New York, Philly R&B sound, but it was really in the Midwest that the rock and roll scene took over, not only in terms of creation, but in terms of consumption. And Styx were a genuine Chicago Midwestern band. They really had it all. They had the virtuosity, the great songwriting, and after really working hard, producing great albums that didn't get the recognition they deserved, they became huge. And if not for the personal problems, they could have probably continued, but in their own capacities, they have continued for all of those years. So happy birthday to Dennis, and enjoy those early albums that you may have overlooked. I think you'll end up liking them. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.